Discomfort. It's the one thing we all try to avoid. But here's the truth you need to hear. Discomfort isn't your enemy. It's your greatest ally. If you're serious about becoming disciplined, focused, and unstoppable, you must embrace it. Today, I'll show you 7 powerful ways discomfort builds self-discipline and transforms your life. Pay attention, because this could change everything. 1. Discomfort teaches you control over your impulses. Let's get something straight right now. Impulses are the enemy of progress. They are the temptations that pull you off course, the instant desires that tell you to settle, to give in, to take the easy road. Impulses lead you to make decisions that will leave you stuck in a perpetual loop of mediocrity and regret. And the only way to break free of this destructive cycle is through discomfort, the very thing you want to avoid the most. But here's the truth. Discomfort teaches you control over your impulses. It forces you to face the raw, unfiltered side of yourself, the side that wants everything right now, the side that would rather take the shortcut than put in the hard work. And in that struggle, when every part of you is screaming to give in, you're given the greatest gift of all: the power to decide, the power to control your impulses. Right now, in this very moment, you are at a crossroads. You can either continue to let your impulses run your life, letting them dictate your actions and outcomes, or you can embrace the discomfort that will strip away the layers of weakness and reveal your true strength. The choice is yours, and it demands action. If you want to be someone who can command their destiny, then you must learn to control the impulses that threaten to derail it. There's no sugarcoating it. Learning control is hard. It takes effort. It takes sacrifice. And in the beginning, it feels unbearable. But let me tell you this. It is worth it. When you learn to control your impulses, when you learn to choose discipline over temptation, that is when you start living a life that is in your control. That is when you stop being a slave to your urges and start being the master of your future. Let me give you a story of a man who thought he had it all figured out. He was intelligent, driven, and capable, but like so many, he had an Achilles heel: his impulses. He lived in a constant battle between what he wanted now and what he knew he needed in the long run. Every day was a war against temptation, against his own desires, and every day he lost. One night, after another disappointing failure, he sat alone, overwhelmed by the weight of his own lack of control. He thought about all the times he had given in, the late nights spent scrolling on his phone instead of working on his goals, the countless meals eaten in haste and indulgence, the constant procrastination that kept him from moving forward. He saw himself slipping further into the abyss of instant gratification. And in that moment, something within him broke. He was sick of it. Sick of being controlled by his impulses. Sick of being a prisoner to his own desires. The discomfort was unbearable. The pain of seeing himself waste his potential was a deep, gnawing ache in his chest. It was the pain of knowing he was capable of so much more, but had allowed himself to be distracted by fleeting pleasures. And in that raw moment of discomfort, when it felt as if the weight of his failures might crush him, he made a decision. He decided to change. Right then, right there, in the face of all that discomfort, he chose to take control. The next morning, it was still hard. His impulses still whispered to him, urging him to give in, to indulge, to take the easy way out. But this time, he didn't listen. He resisted. He made a conscious decision every single day to do the hard things. He stopped wasting time on trivial distractions. He stopped making excuses. The discomfort of resisting his impulses, of saying no to short-term satisfaction in order to build long-term success, became his new fuel. Every time he chose discipline over indulgence, it became a little easier, a little more natural. It wasn't perfect. There were days when he faltered. There were moments when the temptation to give in was overwhelming. But he learned each time that discomfort wasn't something to fear. It was the teacher he had been avoiding for too long. The discomfort became his greatest mentor, showing him that real power came from the ability to make decisions with purpose, to act with control, even in the face of overwhelming urges. Slowly but surely, this man started to change. His results started to change. He was no longer a victim of his impulses. He had become a man of discipline. He was no longer a slave to his feelings. He was the master of his actions. What does this mean for you? It means you too have the ability to take control. You too can break free from the chains of impulsivity that are keeping you from your full potential. But to do that, you must embrace discomfort. You must welcome it, because it is the only thing that will teach you to resist the immediate pull of your desires in favor of something greater. Without discomfort, there is no change. Without discomfort, there is no growth. Here's the brutal truth. Your impulses are running your life until you choose to stand up and take control. Every time you give in, you lose a little bit more of your power. Every time you choose the easy road, you make it harder to walk the hard one next time. But when you choose discomfort, when you choose the hard path, you build strength. You build control. And with that control comes the ability to shape your own destiny. You cannot wait for your impulses to simply disappear. They are a part of who you are, a part of the human condition. But you can choose to master them. The discomfort you feel when you resist them is the very thing that will forge your strength, your resolve, your ability to take control. And once you have that control, once you can say no to the fleeting pleasures and yes to the long-term rewards, that's when you begin to shape your life into something extraordinary. The time is now. You must act. You must embrace discomfort. You must break free from the cycle of impulsivity. The power is in your hands. Now go and claim it. 2. Discomfort forces growth through resistance. Listen carefully. Growth doesn't come from ease. It never has, and it never will. If you want to evolve, to become the best version of yourself, you must understand one thing. Growth demands resistance. It demands discomfort. It demands you fight against the current, to struggle, to endure. The simple truth is this: without resistance, there is no progress. Without discomfort, there is no growth. You will remain where you are, stagnating in the comfortable, safe cocoon of mediocrity. The world loves comfort. The world tells you to take it easy, to relax, to coast through life and avoid conflict. But let me make this clear. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. It is the barrier that holds you back. The quiet whisper telling you to stay put, to settle for less than what you're capable of. And it is only when you step into the discomfort, when you allow the resistance to push you to your limits, that you start to see change. The growth you seek will never come without this struggle. Imagine a man on the brink of a breakthrough. He had been pushing himself for months, trying to achieve something extraordinary, something that would change the trajectory of his life. But each day was a battle. Every step forward felt like a battle against his own limitations. The pain of progress was relentless. It felt as though he was fighting against something much bigger than himself. Every fiber in his body screamed at him to stop, to retreat into comfort, to let go of the pursuit that was demanding so much from him. It felt easier to quit. And yet he could not ignore the truth that resided deep within him. That growth, real growth, could only come through resistance. He had faced setbacks. He had encountered failure. He had come up against walls that seemed insurmountable. But each time, the discomfort pushed him further. Every obstacle, every challenge was not a signal to stop, but a signal to fight harder. The discomfort was not a force to fear, but a force to respect. It was the fire in which his potential was being forged. But there were moments, countless moments, when the weight of it all felt unbearable. The mental exhaustion, the physical strain, the emotional toll. He wanted to give in. He wanted to abandon the fight, to let go of the dream that had become a relentless driving force. But in the midst of that struggle, something shifted. He realized that this discomfort, this resistance, was not something to escape. It was something to embrace. It was the thing that was forcing him to grow. It was the thing that was shaping him into the person he needed to be. And that was the moment his life changed. In the very act of resisting, in the very act of pushing through discomfort, he began to see results. His mind sharpened, his body grew stronger, his confidence surged. With every challenge he overcame, he felt more capable, more alive. He had not only survived the discomfort, he had thrived in it. The resistance had forced him to become something greater than he ever thought possible. It was no longer about achieving a single goal. It was about something far more profound, the transformation of his very being. He had learned that discomfort was not the enemy. It was the catalyst for his growth. It had forced him to confront his weaknesses, to break through his limitations, and to rise up with a strength he never knew he had. Now let me speak directly to you. You are at a crossroads. You are facing resistance in some area of your life, whether it's in your career, your relationships, or your personal journey. And right now, the temptation is strong to quit, to retreat into comfort, to abandon the path that requires so much of you. But I am here to tell you, this resistance is not your enemy. It is your path forward. It is the thing that will force you to grow in ways you never imagined. You will not grow by avoiding discomfort. You will not grow by shying away from the pain. You will grow by facing it head on. You will grow by pushing through the resistance with everything you have, even when it feels like you can't take another step. Every moment of discomfort is a moment of opportunity. An opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. Think of the most extraordinary individuals in history. Think of the leaders, the innovators, the trailblazers. They didn't become great because things were easy. They became great because they chose to face the discomfort, to push through the resistance, and to emerge on the other side stronger than before. This is your chance. Your moment to choose discomfort over comfort, to choose growth over stagnation. Your success is not on the other side of ease. It is on the other side of your willingness to fight. Every ounce of discomfort you feel is an invitation to rise. It is the force that will shape you, the resistance that will propel you forward. The more you embrace it, the stronger you will become. Do not shy away from the struggle. Embrace it, own it, and through it, you will become the person you were always meant to be. You have a choice. You can stay where you are, stuck in the cycle of mediocrity and ease, or you can choose to step into the discomfort and allow it to force you to grow. The time to act is now. The time to rise is now. 3. Discomfort teaches you patience. Understand this. Patience is not a passive trait. It is not about waiting around for things to happen. It is not about idly hoping that life will change. True patience is forged in the furnace of discomfort. It is an active choice, a practice of enduring through the hardship, refusing to quit when every part of you screams for immediate results. Patience is what happens when you stand firm in the face of frustration, when you stay steady amid chaos, and when you choose to fight through the discomfort of waiting. We live in a world where everyone wants everything now. The culture of instant gratification has infected every corner of our lives. We want success, wealth, recognition, and happiness all at once. We want the result without the process, and we are drowning in the pain of impatience. But let me tell you the truth. Patience is not something you can learn by wishing for it. It is something you must earn. And you earn it by pushing through the discomfort that stands between you and the results you seek. Patience is earned through the struggle, through the sleepless nights, the countless hours spent working toward a goal that feels out of reach, through the moments when every bone in your body tells you to quit, but you press on anyway. It is in the moments when the discomfort of progress feels unbearable that patience is born. There was a man. like so many of us who longed for success. He dreamed of building something great, of making an impact, of reaching a point where he could look at his life and say, "I did it. I am who I always wanted to be." But as he worked toward that goal, the discomfort began to set in. It wasn't the discomfort of physical pain. Not entirely. It was the discomfort of waiting. The discomfort of seeing others around him achieve what he desired, of watching the world move forward while he felt as though he was stuck in the mud. The discomfort of giving everything he had, day after day, only to see minimal progress. It was maddening. The frustration built up inside him like a pressure cooker, ready to explode. Every morning he woke up with a renewed sense of urgency. He wanted to make things happen. He wanted to see the results of his efforts. And yet, nothing came quickly. Every time he thought he was about to break through, another obstacle appeared, another setback, another delay. There were moments when he thought about giving up. He could feel the impatience gnawing at him, telling him to abandon the dream, to stop waiting, to stop putting in the work. It would be easier, wouldn't it? Easier to walk away, easier to settle for less. But he couldn't ignore the fire that burned inside him. He couldn't ignore the desire to see this through, to endure the discomfort and to grow into the person he needed to be. And that's when it clicked. In the midst of the discomfort, the frustration, the constant waiting, he realized that his impatience was his greatest enemy. He had been so focused on the end result that he had ignored the lessons in the process. Patience, he now understood, wasn't about sitting idly and waiting for things to happen. It was about being strong enough to endure the struggle, to stay steady in the face of adversity, and to keep going even when the results weren't immediate. With that realization came a new strength. Patience became his ally, not because he waited passively, but because he chose to stand firm in the discomfort. He chose to keep going, not because the world told him to, but because he knew that each moment of struggle, each day of waiting was preparing him for something greater. He could feel his patience growing, not in a moment of ease, but in the very battle against his own frustrations. The discomfort he once feared now became his teacher. Every time he felt like quitting, he resisted. Every time the pressure of impatience threatened to break him, he held firm. And with each passing day, he felt a deep, undeniable change inside himself. Patience was no longer a far-off dream. It had become a skill, a muscle that he had developed through struggle. The more he embraced the discomfort, the stronger his patience grew. The more he resisted the temptation to quit, the more he learned about the power of delayed gratification, the importance of steady effort, and the quiet power that came with enduring. It was not an easy road. It was never supposed to be. Patience is not easy. It is not for the faint of heart. It requires you to endure when every fiber in your body tells you to give up. It requires you to believe, even when the evidence is lacking. It requires you to stay the course when everything within you wants to take shortcuts. But I am telling you this, if you are serious about your goals, if you are serious about growth, then you must understand that discomfort is the crucible in which your patience is forged. Without discomfort, without struggle, there is no growth. There is no patience. You cannot develop this virtue by simply wishing for it. You develop it by facing the discomfort and pushing through. You develop it by taking responsibility for your actions and enduring the difficult, uncomfortable moments that come with working toward your dreams. Patience is not about waiting. It is about enduring. It is about choosing to stand firm when every part of you wants to walk away. The world will test you. Life will push you. And in those moments, you must make the choice to face the discomfort head on. That discomfort, those moments of struggle, will teach you patience. And through patience, you will find the strength to reach your goals. Not by rushing, not by giving up, but by enduring through the discomfort and coming out on the other side stronger, wiser, and ready for what's next. You have the power to build this patience, but you must choose to face the discomfort. The choice is yours. Will you endure, or will you give up? Will you let the discomfort teach you, or will you let it break you? The decision is in your hands. Act with urgency. Act with determination. 4. Discomfort develops mental toughness. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to say could change everything. Mental toughness is not a trait you're born with. It's not something that magically appears when you reach a certain age or hit a specific milestone. Mental toughness is forged in the crucible of discomfort. It is developed, shaped, and solidified through struggle, adversity, and the relentless pressure of pushing through when every instinct tells you to quit. The truth is this: without discomfort, without hardship, you will never develop the mental fortitude required to succeed in this world. You can't sidestep the pain, the struggle, the challenges that demand everything from you. If you want to rise above mediocrity, if you want to achieve the unthinkable, then you must embrace discomfort with everything you have. Mental toughness is the ability to stay calm, focused, and resolute in the face of adversity. And that toughness, that indomitable will, is born in discomfort. The world loves convenience. It rewards those who avoid challenges, who seek the path of least resistance. But let me make one thing abundantly clear. Those who are afraid of discomfort, those who run from hardship, will never reach their full potential. They will never achieve the greatness that lies on the other side of the struggle. Greatness is earned through pain. It is earned through the ability to endure, to fight, and to push through when every part of you wants to quit. Let me take you inside the story of someone who learned the hard way that discomfort is not something to fear, but something to embrace. There was a man not unlike you, who had dreams, big dreams. He wanted to achieve more, to create something lasting, something that would define his legacy. But every step forward felt like a battle. Every day, he faced an inner war, the battle between his desire for success and the suffocating discomfort that came with it. He felt it in his bones, the relentless pressure to keep pushing, to keep going, even when his body screamed for rest, when his mind was clouded by doubt. And yet, every time he was faced with discomfort, he resisted. He fought it. He wanted to take the easier road, to find a shortcut to escape the pain. But deep down, he knew something. The pain was where the growth was. The discomfort, the struggle, was exactly what he needed to build the mental toughness that would carry him to success. He couldn't afford to shy away from it. He had to learn to endure. There were moments deep in the night when his spirit felt broken, when the exhaustion weighed on him so heavily that he could barely move. The emotional fatigue was just as crippling. He questioned himself, wondered if it was worth it. The world outside seemed to be moving ahead, while he remained stuck, caught in an endless cycle of failure and frustration. Every single day, the discomfort seemed to grow heavier, and with it, the temptation to give up became harder to ignore. But then came the turning point. The moment he decided that quitting was not an option. He was tired, drained, and emotionally spent, but he could not let the discomfort defeat him. He could not let the struggle break him. In that moment, he chose to rise. He chose to embrace the discomfort, to fight through it, to let it shape him rather than consume him. He realized that if he wanted to become the man he knew he could be, the man who would not just survive but thrive, he had to build mental toughness. And that toughness would only come through enduring the discomfort and pushing past it. The days that followed were a blur of exhaustion, frustration, and relentless effort. But every time the discomfort intensified, he grew stronger. He learned how to silence the doubts, how to push through the emotional fatigue, how to keep moving forward even when every ounce of his being begged him to stop. He was learning to master his mind. He was learning to control his reactions to adversity, to rise above the pain and continue moving forward. And slowly, the change began to happen. He became a different man. His mental toughness began to emerge, not as a gift or a talent, but as something he had earned through his willingness to face discomfort head-on, to confront the inner demons that had once held him back. The more he pushed, the stronger he became. The more he resisted the temptation to quit, the more unstoppable he felt. He realized that the pain was not a burden. It was the key to unlocking his potential. It wasn't easy. It was never going to be easy. But he knew this truth now. Mental toughness was not a trait that could be given to him. It had to be earned. It had to be forged in the fire of discomfort. Now let me address you directly. Are you ready to embrace discomfort? Are you ready to step into the fire, knowing that it will burn? Knowing that it will test you in ways you can't yet imagine? Because let me be clear. If you want to develop mental toughness, if you want to achieve the success you claim to desire, then you must be willing to face the discomfort that comes with it. There is no shortcut. There is no magic pill. The pain, the struggle, the discomfort, they are not obstacles. They are the path. They are the process. And if you can learn to endure them, you will emerge stronger, sharper, more capable than you ever imagined. Do not shy away from discomfort. Do not run from the challenges that will come your way. Embrace them. Welcome them, because in that struggle, you will find your strength. You will find your mental toughness. And once you have that, once you have forged it through the fire, nothing will stand in your way. The time to act is now. The discomfort is waiting. Will you face it, or will you run? The choice is yours. Act decisively. Act with urgency. 5. Discomfort strengthens your commitment. Let me tell you something, and I want you to hear this loud and clear. Commitment means nothing unless you are willing to endure discomfort. This is not an easy truth, but it's the truth you need to hear if you're serious about achieving greatness. You can stand before the mirror and declare your goals. You can speak your intentions with passion, but none of it means anything unless you're willing to walk through the fire when it gets hot. Commitment, real commitment, is forged in the crucible of discomfort. It is in those painful, difficult, and trying moments that your dedication is truly tested. There's no shortcut. You cannot talk your way into commitment. You cannot write your way into it. Commitment is not built on promises or good intentions. It is built on action. It is built on the ability to stay the course when everything within you screams to quit, to turn around, to retreat into comfort. True commitment is unwavering. It is the will to stand firm, to endure, and to keep going when the discomfort threatens to break you. I want you to think about something. Think about the moments when everything seems impossible, when the odds are stacked against you, when every step feels like you're walking on broken glass. You know those moments. They've come in your life. They will come again. And the question is, will you stay committed or will you crumble? There was a man who had a dream, one so big, so audacious, that the world would laugh at him if he ever voiced it. He wanted to change everything, not just his own life, but the lives of others. He wanted to leave a legacy, to make a mark so deep that the world would remember his name. But the road was not smooth, and the climb was steep. Every day was a battle with discomfort. It was the discomfort of fear, of doubt, of frustration. It was the discomfort of waking up every morning and feeling the weight of the world pressing down on him. It was the discomfort of rejection, of failure, of the cruel voice inside his head telling him he was not enough. And yet, in the midst of it all, he chose commitment. He chose to stay true to the path he had set before him, even when the world tried to knock him off it. When he felt like giving up, he doubled down on his resolve. When the discomfort seemed unbearable, he dug deeper. The pain was immense, the struggle relentless, but every ounce of discomfort strengthened his commitment. Every tear, every sleepless night, every sacrifice was a reminder that he was on the right path. The thing is, commitment is not some abstract idea. It's a force that holds you in place, even when the winds of doubt howl around you. It's not just about showing up when things are easy. It's about showing up when you're tired, when you're broken, when you feel like the world is collapsing on you. Commitment is what keeps you moving forward when everything else tells you to stop. And it is in those moments of discomfort that your commitment becomes unshakable. He had moments, countless moments, where quitting felt like the easiest choice. When the failure felt too overwhelming, when the rejection felt too personal. There were nights when he lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if it was worth it. The discomfort of doubt, of frustration, gnawed at him, tearing away at his resolve. But he knew something deep inside. Commitment was not about convenience. It was about making a decision and sticking to it. No matter the pain, no matter the cost. And so he stayed committed. He pressed on, despite the discomfort, despite the voices that told him to stop. The discomfort didn't break him. It refined him. It tested him. It strengthened him. And with every passing day, he found himself growing in ways he could never have imagined. His resolve became steel. His determination became unshakable. And with each obstacle, each failure, each moment of discomfort, his commitment grew even stronger. Commitment is not for the faint of heart. It is not for those who want the easy way out, the quick fix. Commitment demands you face discomfort head-on and keep moving forward, even when the road is long and lonely. It requires you to be relentless. It requires you to stand firm in your purpose, to look fear, doubt, and exhaustion in the face and say, I will not quit. This is the power of commitment. You see, discomfort has a way of revealing the true depth of your commitment. When everything is easy, commitment means nothing. But when the pressure is on, when the world is against you, commitment becomes your weapon. It becomes the thing that carries you through the toughest times. It is your anchor. Now let me ask you, what is your commitment worth? Are you willing to endure the discomfort? Are you willing to fight through the pain? Because here's the harsh truth. The moment you decide to stay committed, you will face discomfort. You will face resistance. You will feel the weight of the journey. But it is through that discomfort that your commitment will be tested. And it is through that testing that your commitment will be strengthened. The man, after years of struggle and sacrifice, achieved his dream. But more than that, he achieved something far greater. He became a man who could withstand anything. His commitment had been forged in the fires of discomfort, and nothing in this world could break it. This is your moment. What will you choose? Will you fold at the first sign of discomfort? Or will you rise? Will you let the discomfort define you? Or will you let it fuel your commitment to the life you've always dreamed of? The choice is yours. 6. Discomfort breaks the cycle of mediocrity. Let me be clear. Mediocrity is a silent killer. It doesn't announce itself with fanfare or fireworks. It slips in quietly, like a fog that settles over your ambitions and dims your potential. It's the comfortable lie we tell ourselves that we're doing okay, when in truth we are stagnant, stuck in a cycle of complacency. Mediocrity feeds on your comfort, your unwillingness to challenge the status quo, and it will strangle your greatness if you let it. But there is a way out. There is a force that, when fully embraced, can shatter the shackles of mediocrity and free you to become the person you are meant to be. That force is discomfort. The discomfort you try to avoid, the pain you run from, the effort you resist, that is the very thing that will break you free. In the world of complacency, there are no breakthroughs. There are no victories. There is no growth. Mediocrity thrives in the absence of discomfort. It tells you that what you have is enough, that there is no need to push harder or dream bigger. It convinces you that settling for good enough is the best you can do, that there is no point in challenging your limits. But let me tell you, The moment you embrace discomfort, you choose to break free from the chains of mediocrity. That is when your life changes. That is when the cycle is shattered. Think of someone who has struggled with mediocrity. Someone who feels stuck, like they're walking in place, trapped in the same old routines. They wake up, go through the motions, feel the weight of unfulfilled potential pressing down on their chest, but they've convinced themselves that this is all there is. But what if there's more? What if the discomfort, the pain of going beyond their limits, is the very thing they need to break the cycle? Let me tell you the story of a man who was drowning in the quiet despair of mediocrity. He wasn't poor, he wasn't struggling for survival. He had a decent job, a decent life, and the comfort that came with it. But inside he felt empty. He had dreams that were never realized. He had ambitions that were never pursued. And every time he thought about reaching for something greater, the thought was swallowed up by a feeling of discomfort. That discomfort was terrifying. It was the nagging voice that said, "You're not good enough." The voice that warned him of failure. The voice that told him to stay where it was safe. So he stayed in his comfortable little bubble, avoiding the very thing that could set him free. Every day the discomfort ate at him, but it also kept him trapped. The cycle was vicious. One day, something inside him snapped. He couldn't take it anymore. He stood in front of the mirror and saw the truth for the first time. He had been settling. He had been giving up on himself. The discomfort of facing his own mediocrity hurt more than the fear of failure. The thought of living another day in that same stifling cycle was unbearable. He couldn't stay here. Not anymore. So, he made a decision. A powerful, life-changing decision. He would no longer run from the discomfort. He would face it head-on. He didn't know what the future would hold. He didn't know if he would succeed or fail. But he knew one thing. He could no longer live this lie. He couldn't live as a shadow of what he could be. He had to take action. The first step was terrifying. It was uncomfortable. It felt like walking through fire. But he did it anyway. He pushed past the fear, the doubt, the hesitation, and slowly, ever so slowly, something began to shift. As he moved further into discomfort, he began to see who he really was, not the person trapped in mediocrity, but the person capable of greatness. The more he embraced the discomfort, the more the cycle of complacency broke down. Every challenge he faced, every failure he encountered, became a stepping stone. It was no longer an obstacle to his success, it was a part of the process. The discomfort didn't just break the cycle, it transformed him. He no longer feared the pain of growth. In fact, he began to crave it. He began to see the discomfort not as an enemy, but as his greatest ally, the force that would propel him to the life he had always dreamed of. He had found freedom. Freedom from mediocrity, freedom from the suffocating grip of complacency. This man's journey wasn't easy, it wasn't smooth, but the discomfort became his fuel. And it broke the cycle that had held him captive for far too long. Let me be clear with you. If you want to escape mediocrity, if you want to rise above the sea of average, you must embrace discomfort. It is the one thing that will force you to evolve. It is the hammer that will break the chains that bind you. You cannot stay comfortable and expect your life to change. You cannot keep doing what you've always done and expect different results. The price of greatness is discomfort, and you must be willing to pay it. There will be moments when you want to quit. There will be days when the weight of discomfort feels unbearable. But remember this, the only way out of mediocrity is through the discomfort. On the other side of that pain is your potential, your greatness, your true self waiting to emerge. The question is, will you choose to face the discomfort? Will you choose to break the cycle? Will you choose to rise above mediocrity? The decision is yours. The time is now. Don't wait. Don't let comfort keep you from your destiny. We have more interesting videos about Stoicism and the way of life. If you want to watch a video about Marcus Aurelius quotes, please click link above in the video. If you like the video or you don't want to miss further videos about Stoicism, please subscribe. 7. Discomfort builds confidence through action. Let me be blunt. Confidence is not a gift, and it's certainly not something you wait for to show up at your door. Confidence is earned. It is not some magical trait that some people are born with while others are left in the dark. Confidence is forged through action, through embracing discomfort, and through refusing to back down in the face of adversity. If you think confidence is about feeling good or waiting for the right moment, you're mistaken. Confidence is built through struggle, through pushing yourself beyond the limits of what you thought was possible. Confidence grows only when you step into the unknown, when you act in the face of fear, when you take responsibility for your actions and rise up despite the discomfort. It's a result of repeatedly deciding to act, no matter how difficult it feels. The moment you act, despite your fear, discomfort, or self-doubt, that's when your confidence grows. It's not a theory, it's a fact. Confidence comes from action. Let me tell you about a man, someone who was no different than you or me. He had big dreams, a burning desire to succeed, and a vision of what his life could become. But there was a problem. He lacked confidence. Not in his abilities, but in his willingness to step out of his comfort zone. The doubts ate away at him. The fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of making a mistake, it all kept him paralyzed, trapped in a cycle of indecision. And every day, that same voice in his head told him, "You're not good enough. You'll never make it." But he wasn't content to live in this endless cycle of self-doubt. He knew that the only way to break free was through action, and that meant stepping directly into discomfort. He had no illusions about the difficulty of the journey ahead. He knew it would be painful. He knew it would stretch him, but he also knew this: there was no other way. No shortcut, no easy path. Confidence would not come to him unless he earned it through action. So he decided to take the first step. No more waiting, no more procrastination. He walked into that uncomfortable space where fear and uncertainty collide. He took that first shaky step, and everything inside him screamed to turn back. But he didn't. He pressed forward, feeling the weight of his self-doubt like an anchor, but refusing to let it pull him under. Every movement, every action was a battle against the discomfort. But with each decision to push through, his confidence began to shift. It wasn't immediate, not even close, but something powerful started to happen. He gained momentum. It wasn't the success he craved that built his confidence. It was the simple act of doing, of acting, even when every fiber of his being wanted to freeze. The more he acted, the more he took on discomfort, the more he realized something profound. He was capable of more than he had ever believed. With every small victory, his confidence grew. He would look back on the decisions he'd made, the actions he'd taken, and see that they had led to tangible results. It was undeniable. Confidence was not something he felt, it was something he did. And the more he did, the more confident he became. But it wasn't just about the results. It was about the process. Each uncomfortable moment he faced, each fear he overcame, built his resolve. Each time he acted, despite the discomfort, he discovered new facets of his character. He realized that the discomfort wasn't a sign to quit, it was a sign to push harder. The discomfort revealed his strength, his ability to endure, his power to take control of his destiny. Think about this. Action is the antidote to doubt. Doubt cannot survive when action is taken. When you face your fears, when you act in spite of the discomfort, you disarm doubt and replace it with confidence. And this isn't just theory, this is the hard truth of how you build confidence. It isn't built by sitting idly and waiting for life to align with your desires. Confidence is a byproduct of relentless action in the face of discomfort. The man, now months into his journey, felt different. He had transformed. Confidence radiated from him, Not because he felt secure in himself, but because he had learned to trust in his actions. He knew that if he could act in the face of discomfort, he could face anything. That confidence, that unshakable belief in his ability to handle whatever came his way wasn't born from success. It was born from discomfort. It was the sum of every difficult moment he faced and chose to act anyway. Here's the thing, you are not going to find confidence by waiting for it to magically appear. It won't happen by some miracle. You have to create it, and you create it through action. Action builds momentum, momentum builds progress, and progress builds confidence. You want to feel more confident? Then do the thing that makes you uncomfortable. The more you confront that discomfort, the more you will realize that you are capable of far more than you ever believed. But let me make one thing clear. This isn't about avoiding discomfort. This is about embracing it, about running toward it with everything you have. Every uncomfortable step you take, every action you make despite the fear, will strengthen your resolve and sharpen your confidence. Confidence isn't about feeling ready. It's about being willing to act even when you don't feel ready. The moment you choose to act, despite the discomfort, you step into your true power. You become unstoppable, and that, my friend, is the confidence that will carry you through anything life throws your way. So, stop waiting, stop hoping, take decisive action now. Embrace discomfort, build your confidence. This is your moment. Don't let it pass you by. Till the next time, stay strong and live wisely.